Okay, so I'm recording the session. Okay, so I think we can continue. So in this first step, we were checking for addition, multiplication, division, then modulus. Then here we come to our first question, where we want to check for what is 7 power 4. So to do this, instead of using one asterisk sign, we use double asterisk signs. So it will be 7, then the double asterisk signs, then 4. And this is our answer. You can use your calculator to confirm this. Then out here you can see that this value here is not printed out, and that's why we have this out statement out here. So to print our values, we can simply type print. Then I can copy this code up here, then paste it inside these brackets, then run the line. So you can note that we don't have this out statement out here. So here you have learned addition, multiplication, division, modulus, exponentation, which is a number powered by something, then how to print out values. So we can go to our next exercise where we have given the variables planet is equals to Earth, diameter is equals to this. So what you are required to do here is that you should create the variable planet and assign to it the value Earth, then diameter and assign to it these values. So I'm going to do that. So I'm simply going to copy this, since this is how we create the variables. We start with the variable name, then we use the equal sign to assign the value. So we will have planet, the variable name, the equal sign, then the value. Then I can copy the diameter. Paste the code there. So you can see that my code has run without any errors. So what we are being asked here, we are being asked to print the following string. So our string should be something like this. The diameter of Earth is 12,000 kilometers. So to do this, there are two ways we can try this out. So first of all, we can use the print statement directly. Print, then open the quotation marks, then we type in the diameter of, then we come out of our double quotation marks, then include a plus sign, then write our variable name, planet. Since we want after this statement here, the diameter of, we have then the word Earth. Then add another plus sign, then the quotation marks, then continue with our statement is, our statement is, then include another plus sign, then type diameter here since we want to output the diameter. Then plus, then we finish with the kilometers. So I can run my line and see what happens. Okay, so I need to convert this diameter here into a string, and to do this, I will simply enclose this variable in the string function. You can note here that we have an error that can only concatenate string, not type int, since our value up here is of type int. So run the line. So you can see that we have the same thing here. The diameter of Earth is 12,742 kilometers. Then you can note that as I was typing my statements, I left some spaces after the quotation marks. So I left these spaces so that this statement here, this paragraph here can have some spaces. You can understand what you're reading. Okay, so the second way we can output this is by using the dot format function. So to do this, I will simply type print, open the brackets, then in here type the diameter of, then open those kind of brackets, is, then open the same type of brackets again, and finish with the kilometers. Then outside the quotation marks, I can type the dot format. We will be using the dot format function. So here we will type in the variable planet, comma, then type in the variable diameter, then run the line. So you can see that using the dot format function, it's simple to output your line than just typing in everything up here. So hope that was simple for you, and you can go and try that. And I will share this notebook after the end of the course so that you can go through what I was doing. Okay, so I think we can proceed on to the next question, where we have our lists. So I hope you remember how to create the lists. So to create the lists, we were defining the list name, then using these square brackets to create our lists. So first of all, I'm going to create a list just to demonstrate to you how we were creating the lists. So we can have this list 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our list, and we can check the type of data type we have created so that you can confirm it's a list. So you can see here that we have created a list. Then I'm going to copy this code here so that we can create our second list. So this is a simple list, and this is what we call a nested list. You can notice that we have some small lists created in between our bigger list. So I'm going to run this and then go back to our question and see what we were required to do. So in this question, we were supposed to grab the word hello. So to grab the word hello, they are simply requiring us to index our list. So I'm going to start by reminding you how to index your lists. So for example, in our list, let me run this list up here again, or maybe rename it to list 1, so that we may not get confused. Okay, so we have our first list, then we have our second list down here. So I'm going to start by indexing our first list. So for example, we wanted to obtain the value 2. So to obtain the value 2, we were to do some list indexing. And to do list indexing, we simply type the list name, then the square brackets, then the index of the value we want. For example, index counting starts from 0. So our value 1 has index 0, our value 2 has index 1, 3 has index 2, then 4 has index 3. So for example, we want to attain 2, so 2 has index 1. So in this square brackets, we will type 1 in there. So that's how we index our lists. So down here, we have another special kind of list, which is called a nested list. So, and we want to obtain the value hello. So let us start with the simple list indexing. So we will have list, then type in a random value, for example, 2, then run the line. So you can note that our index 2 has this list here. So this indicates that our index counting is separated by these commas. So for example, we have list 1, we have our index 1, 2, 3, then 4, 4, our fourth index ends there, or no, not there, our fourth index ends here, then fifth index, then sixth index. So we can confirm our fourth index if it is this long. So we'll simply type lst 4. Oh, sorry. So this is of index 3. Since indexing starts from 0. You can see that this is our fourth index. So we want to obtain the word hello from our list. So you can note that we have obtained this list containing the hello word using this code up here. So we need to index this list again. So we'll type lst, then 3, then out here type another square bracket, then start indexing our list again. So we have 1, then 2. So hello is in our second index again in our second list. Oh, sorry, it's 1, not 2. Okay, so here we have been left with 100, 200, and hello. So we will do the same thing, 3, 2, then index this list again. So we have 0, 1, 2. So hello is in the second index.
The second is 1.
The second is, oh,
One.
the second is 1, sorry. Okay, so we have been left here with hello, but we want hello alone without the square brackets. So what we will do is we will type our code there again, then type 0, since it is the only item available in our list. So we have the value hello. And if you want to output it, simply type print, then paste your code in there. So we have hello being printed out. So next we are going to start with our dictionaries again. So in this dictionary, we are supposed to print the value hello again. So I will start by showing you how to create the dictionaries. So to create the dictionaries, for example, dic1, we simply use those types of brackets. Then we start with the key. So for example, we can have key 1. Then you should remember to enclose them in the quotation marks. So key 1 can have the value name, then a comma, then we can have key 2. Key 2. Then remember the key is separated from its value with the semicolons. So we can have key 2, and key 2 can have the value date. Run the code, then type here dict1, see the output. So we have our dictionary, and we can confirm this by checking the type of data type we have created. So it's a dictionary. So that's what to remind you how to create the dictionaries. So next I'm going to copy this code here and paste it to our notebook. So this is our dictionaries, and the question is asking us to grab the word hello from our dictionary. Okay, so we need to learn how to index the dictionaries. So indexing of dictionaries is different from that of lists. So to index a dictionaries, you first need to know the keys that are available in your dictionaries. So for example, we can check for all the keys available in our dictionary by simply typing dict1.keys, then run the line. So you can see that we have key 1 and key 2. So each and every key has its own specific value. So for example, here we can type dict dict1, then in here type key 2. So you can note that key 2 has the value date, and this is simply what we are going to use to obtain the value hello from our nested dictionary. So this is a nested dictionaries. You can note that we have our large dictionary, then we have small dictionaries inside this big dictionary. So I'm going to check for the keys in our dictionary. So for example, d.keys, run the line. So we have key 1 from our big dictionary. So I'm going to type here first dict, then the square brackets, then type in K1. Okay, so type object is not stable. Okay, let me copy this key here. Okay, so it's not dict, it's supposed to be D. Sorry for that. Okay, so in D we have this. So we have the values 1, 2, 3. We have a list. Inside this dictionary, we have a list. So in this list, we have the values 1, 2, and 3, and a dictionary inside that list. So we are going to continue and index this list, second list we have here. So we have index 0, which is 1, 1, 2, 3. So our second dictionary is in the index 0, 1, 2, 3, index 3. So out here, I'm going to type 3. Then run the line. So you can note that our values 1, 2, and 3 have been deleted from our dictionary. So we have this dictionary left. So we are going to index this dictionary again. So I'm going to paste this code here. Then let me count the number of keys we have in here. So we have 3 key. I think that's the only dictionary, the only key we have. So I'm simply going to type the square brackets, then paste this name in there. And run the line. So we are left with this. So next we are going to check how we have been left with a list. So we are going to index this list again. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3. So our last dictionary is in index 3 in our list. So I'm going to copy this code up here, paste it down here, then type in the index 3. So we have been left with this small dictionary. So the same way I indexed the other dictionary, I'm going to index this dictionary. So in here, I'm going to type target, which is our only key, then run the line. So we have been finally left with this list. So I'm going to copy this code up here, paste it down here, then index the last value, which is hello, so which is of index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is of index 4. Then run the line. Okay, so list index is out of range 0, 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's of index 3, not 4, sorry. So we finally have our value hello. So we can print it out. So we have printed out the word hello as per the question. Okay, so another thing they are asking here is, what is the main difference between a tuple and a list? So I'm going to create a tuple and show you the main difference. So to create a tuple, we simply use the normal brackets. So we can have 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can confirm it is, if it is a tuple, type T. So it's a tuple. Then we head our list 1. We had our list 1. So the main difference is that we can update these values in here for our list, but for the tuple, we cannot update them. So to update the list values, we simply type lst, then the index. For example, we want to change this value to be 5. So it will be equals to 5 and run the line. So when I check my list again, the value 2 will have changed to 5. So let us try this with our tuple. So we can have T1. So you can see that the indexing works. Then we can type in T1 is equals to 5 and see what happens. You can see that we have an error. Tuple objects does not support item assignment, so we cannot update our tuples. That's the main difference. Okay, so here we are going into our next exercise, which is the Numpy exercise. And I guess that's our last part before we wind up. So for the Numpy exercise, so as you can remember, Numpy is the Python scientific computing library. So it carries all the scientific computations libraries for Python. Okay, so, and as I told you, you need to import Numpy. You need to import libraries before you can use them. For example, if I try to create an array, which has the values 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, sorry, I don't know why, but I think the Numpy library has been imported already. Okay, so if I wanted to create this array down here without importing the Numpy library, it will not work. So for you, first of all, simply type import Numpy as np, then run the line. Okay, then go back to our question and see what we were being asked. So create an array of 10 zeros. Okay. Okay, so we had different ways of creating arrays, and the first way of creating arrays was creating an array which was full of zeros. So to create arrays full of zeros, we simply type np.zeros. Then we have been told to create the array which has 10 zeros only. Okay, so I will simply type 10 in these brackets. So here we have our array which has 10 zeros. Then next question, we are being asked to create an array. Create an array of 10 zeros, create an array of 10 ones. Okay, so to create an array of 10 ones, we will simply type np.ones, then open the square brackets, then specify the number of ones you want. So here we have 10 ones. You can confirm that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so next we are being asked to create an array of 10 fives. Okay, so to do this, we will simply type in here np.ones, then multiply it by 5. So you can note that we have created our array which has 10 fives. Okay, so next we are being asked to create an array with create an array of integers from 10 to 50. Okay, so to do this, I will simply type np dot arrange, then specify my starting point. Okay, so we want to start from 10, then we want to end at 50. So I will specify my start. So we'll have 10. Then our end will be 51. Since 51 will not be included, then run the code. Okay, so you can note that we have our values from 10 to 50. Remember that this first value specified here is included in our array, but this second value specified here is excluded. Okay. Then next we need to learn how to create an array of even integers from 10 to 50. Okay. Control copy. So paste the code there again. So in this part here, we are creating an array which is of even numbers. So we won't have 11, 13, 15, 17, and so on. So to do this, we need to specify that from 10, you skip a value, then enter the next value. So we will add a third argument, which we will specify the number of steps to move on with. So for example, 10 plus 2 is supposed to give us 12, 12 plus 2, 14, and so on. So when you run the line, you can note that we have all even numbers. Okay, so next we have been asked to create a matrix with values ranging from 0 to 8. Okay, so to create a matrix, this is a two-dimensional array. I hope you can remember what two-dimensional arrays look like. For example, something like this. This is a two-dimensional arrays, and what we have been creating up here are one-dimensional arrays. So we have been asked to create a two-dimensional arrays with values ranging from 0 to 8. So first of all, we can go the longer way of doing this by simply typing np.array, then typing in the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But also we can type in np.arrange (0 to 9) since we want 8. Then remember that we want a 3. We have been asked to create a 3 by 3 matrix. So this is not a 3 by 3 matrix. So to do this, we can reshape our array, and we use the .reshape function. So .reshape, then 3 by 3, the number of dimensions you have been given. So this is our 3-dimensional array. So this will also work for our array up here. Okay, so sorry for that. So I must include 0. Okay, so I also hope you have noted that you cannot reshape array. You cannot not reshape array of size 8 into shape 3 by 3. So the number of rows and columns you want to create must be equal. So for example, if you want two rows here, and if you want 2 rows and 4 columns, that will work. But for example, if you want 5, if you want 2 rows and 5 columns, that won't work since our last column won't have any values. That's why we are having this error up here. So the number of values you are creating should correspond to the number of rows and columns you want. Okay. So next we have been asked to create an identity matrix, a 3x3 identity matrix. Okay, so to do this, I think we use the np.linspace, I guess. Let me confirm that. Okay, so we do not use the linspace np.shift tab. Okay, so I guess I have forgotten the code for creating the identity matrix, but I will refer and get back to you. So okay, so here we have been asked to create random numbers. Let us skip this part, then go to this part here. So where we have been asked to generate a random number between 0 and 1. So to create random numbers, we simply type np.random.random, specify the start, then the end. Okay, so here we have our random number 0.8338007. Then next we have been asked to use Numpy to generate an array of 25 random numbers. So to generate the 25 random numbers, we simply type np.random.random. Then in the brackets specify that we want 25 values. Okay, so here we have our 25 different random numbers. Okay, so also we can use the rand int. We can use the rand int function to generate the random numbers. Okay, it's not necessarily you use the dot random function. You can use the rand int. But to create the 25 random numbers, simply type np.random.random. So next we are going to the number indexing and selection. So this is our last part before we stop. Okay, so we have been given this array here, but so I'm going to copy the code, then paste it here. So this is our array. So let's check what the first question is asking. So the first question is asking, write the code here that produces the output of the cell below. Be careful not to run. Oh, okay, so this was the notebook I shared to you. So you have to be careful not to lose these values here. So we want to run a code that will output only these values here. So this is our array, and we want these values here, 12 to 22, then 22 to 25. This section here highlighted. Ignore the 16 and 21. So what they are asking is that we slice our array, sorry, not list. So to slice our array, we will simply type np, we will type our array name, then specify the start. So these are the rows and these are the columns. Okay, so here we are at row 1, 2. You can write only 2 there to confirm. Okay, so you can see, so this is the column, sorry, not row. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so once you do that, you can specify the row you want. So we are at row 2. At row 1, sorry. So I don't know why we are having the error. Let me correct this. So we can have 2, 2 comma 1, which is giving us 12. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is excluded, so we must include 5. So that we have the values 12, 13, 14, and 15. So in this, so we start with the specifying the rows. We start with specifying the columns, sorry. So here we have 2, where 12 is starting from. But we want 12, 17, and 22, and the values in that column to be included. So we will specify this by typing the column 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is the code for outputting. This is the code for outputting these values here. The values 12, 13, 14, 15, and like that. So you can note that in slicing, we first specify the column and we specify the row. So we can access a single value and also we can access a large number of values. So to access a large number of values, we slice. So this first code, we obtained our column values, then this value here we obtained our row values. So we are going to proceed on to the next question, where we are going to obtain the value 20. Okay, so up here we have 20 here. So we need to check where 20 lies. So it is in row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Row 4, then column 0, 1, 2, 3. So I will simply type here mat 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. You can see that, oh sorry, not 4, 5. Okay, so let me confirm my array once again. Oh, so the first argument is to select the column 0, 1, 2, 3. So it should be 3, not 4. Okay, so we have 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Then in this code again, we specify the row 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. So we should not use the semicolons, we should use the comma. So when we're using the comma, we obtain our value 20. Then we can proceed on and access the values 2, 7, and 12. Okay, so to obtain the values 2, 7, and 12, you must see where they lie. So they lie in the second row. So we will simply type mat, then start with a comma since we do not want to index any column. We are indexing the rows. Then specify the row number 0, 1. So we are starting from column 0, then ending at 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry for that. Mm-hmm. 0, 1, 2. We want the values 7, 2, 7, and 12. So we are going to index the row. We are going to index the column, then the number of columns we want, then the row. And that should give us the values. But they are not the same as this. But I guess we can proceed with that to the next question where we are asked to output this array. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, which is in the last column. So we are going to type mat, then specify the column 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have our array. Then lastly, we have this code here where we have the last two columns being displayed. So we are going to type mat 4, okay, so we are going to type mat 4. So this is the code mat 4 where we obtain our first column. Then okay, so I'm trying to index the problem I am having is that I was trying to index only the fourth column. Oh,
Hello, Guitar. I
yes,
can
hello.
hear you.
Hello.
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear.
Oh, okay, so let me proceed. Okay, so this is how we index we get this code out here. So we specify the number of rows where we want to start and the end. Then we specify the column where we want to start and the end. Then in the last part here, we have get the sum of all the values in mat. So to get the sum, we simply type mat dot sum. Okay, so the sum is 325. You can confirm that from the exercise. So the sum is 325. Then next, we have been asked to check the standard deviation. So to check the standard deviation, we simply type mat.std. So this is the standard deviation as from the exercise. Then get sum of all the columns in March. That's the last part. Okay, so to get the sum of all the columns, we need to specify the axis. So we will simply type here 1, and we will have the sum of all the columns we want. So 55, 60. So for the columns, the axis is 0. So you simply type 0 in the brackets. So we will have 55, 60, 65, 70, and 75, just as from our exercise. Okay, so hope you have gained and you have remembered some of the things. I guess I had forgotten how to index this part here, but by training you again and again, you do remember these codes. So we have started with the dictionaries, printing out, simple arithmetics, till the end where we had our Numpy library. So I think I can now show you our Python course outline so that you can go through it and see what you can be able to learn if you enroll for our classes. So first of all, we have the beginner tutorials where we have the basics. So in the basics, we have the introduction, environment setup, Jupyter Notebook overview, numbers and arithmetics, variables, strings, lists, dictionaries, boolean, tuples, sets, all the basic things, the basic coding in Python. Then we have the Numpy library. This is where we analyze data. For example, this part here. Then we have the pandas library, where we deal with files like the Excel sheet. Then we have the pandas built-in visualization, where you visualize your data. Then we have the matplotlib library, which is more advanced than the pandas library. Then we have the intermediate classes, where we will start with the data visualization with the Seaborn, then plotting and Kaflik. Then we have the geographical plotting. Then we will do a project where we will be using all we have learned since the beginning of the course till the intermediate section to analyze these two projects, the emergency call project and the finance project. Then we will give a brief introduction to machine learning before we move on to the advanced tutorials. So in the advanced tutorials, we will have linear regression, then cross-validation and bias variance trade-off. Then we will have logistic regression, K-means clustering, principal component analysis, recommender systems, then NLP, natural language processing,